call the meeting to order. Roll call. Lauren Roth is not here. Carolyn Hobson is here. Eleanor Hassenbeck is not here. Anna Murphy
Here.
Carrie Wiesen
Here.
Michael Brennan
Here.
Callie West is not here. Cloud Clark
Here.
And Casey Grace
Here.
Okay, does anyone have any notes for the minutes, or would someone like to make a motion to?
I have some notes.
Okay.
So D, public comment. Sorry, E, discussion items. There was a maybe 2/3 of the way down. It said Eleanor Hassenbeck also interrogated the 20-space gravel parking lot closed during events, and then it says final thought and location. And I don't know if that was just a hanging thing that didn't get, if that was actually a sentence or not, at just the last part.
You probably can strike that final thought on location piece because that is correct. That was me typing and not thinking.
That I
You
I
know.
thought the minutes were great. I just said
Yep.
a couple things. And then there are 3 spots where LA, which I appreciate the accent agu, but there should be an E at the end of each of the LAs. There were 3 spots, so one on that page, just a couple lines down, Keith. And then under public comment, the first paragraph, second line. And then almost to the end of that same page, Carl Ayer's comment on the effects of the curved LA. So that should be ALLEE. And then under the public comment section, just a little bit farther down, Keith, complimented. If you get a compliment, it should be complimented with an E instead of an I. Just minor things because I do a lot of editing and nothing that's affecting the minutes per se. But I just thought we could clean that up. And then my last thing was on the, I don't know where you want to put it, staff updates or committee updates. There was some nice, notes about Callie, just kind of that discussion that we had at the end about just not feeling like our voices are being heard. I made quite a few comments on that, and I didn't really see a place where my concerns were reflected in the minutes. Not asking for a lot, but just maybe a sentence or two just saying that I had some concerns about that I felt that the voices of citizens were not being heard, and the port committee with regards to Richardson and the meeting that was held by the board. I think it was March 24. Just with the port survey, which was mentioned, and Callie's comments, and just that we only had one chance to provide input since the change in direction on the pool design. Sorry for all the comments.
So do you want, how would you like to edit those?
Are they on this computer? I was watching as you were looking at them there, but I can definitely jump in and clean that up.
And I'll bring it back to the next meeting.
Yeah, that works.
Be signed.
Or do you want, either I can handwrite them on here, or what? Or do you have them handwritten on yours?
I have them handwritten, but they're kind of scribble scratch. So
Okay.
Yeah, I can take a
I
picture
think
of
what
it
we
after
did
this.
with Eleanor was, because I don't remember what, but there were a couple comments that, and Eleanor just resent a version. And
Yeah. That's
Okay.
totally fine.
that might be the easiest.
Mhm.
Okay, so we will
I
postpone.
can give you my notes on the You might not be able to read my last bit, but you can at least see the highlighted areas.
That's totally fine.
Easy edits.
Then we will postpone approving the April minutes until a revised version at the June meeting.
Mhm.
Does that work?
Mhm.
Okay. Any public comment on non-discussion items? And we are
A new
ready
timer.
for bike park.
You guys seen the new timer? I'll just bring it up in case we do ever have public comment. New timer. And oh, there it is. So they have a timer on their thing too, and they actually can see the time.
Cool.
And then after 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it turns yellow.
Oh.
So if we do have public comment, I'll turn that on.
Cool.
We do have someone. We just opened up public comment.
Okay.
Me?
Okay. Yeah, bike park improvements.
All right, let's go. Start with the bike park. So today we have a couple. Looks like it's reloading. This have a couple items that are projects staff is working to get ready. One second while I reload. There we go. Okay, so we're starting with the bike park. Everyone's familiar with the bike park we opened in 2023. Since that time, we've been listening to feedback, and we've been trying to work on getting some improvements done out here. Our staff has been reaching out to different contractors that do bike park style work, and it's been tough to lock down something within the price we're trying to get, and also get like a local someone within Colorado to do it. We've the company that built the park, we've talked with them. They've given us some kind of higher dollar. They're from a different state. They're from, I think, Kansas City, or is their home base. So it's been hard to track down a contractor to work on it, but we're starting with some improvements this is the skills course, the mountain bike skills course. And if you had time to review, there's little notes down here. Now I was able to edit the presentation a little more and maybe give you some ideas of what's going on. So the improvements with the skills course, if you've been on it, I think it's around a mile long, handful of obstacles. Our staff feels you can get more obstacles fit within there, so that's what they're going to try to do. This is going to be done for the most part in-house. We think our staff can handle some of these ideas. So what we're looking for is if you guys ever have any ideas that you see in other places and you send pictures and stuff, those are things we could possibly incorporate as well. So with the mountain bike skills course, it actually starts down. I'm losing my. This is the big jumps. This is the skills course. You can see where it's labeled. It says like Flagstone Garden. And just throughout the skills course, there would be little obstacles. So when you see like Flagstone Garden, it means a bunch of kind of boulders you're working across. Maybe an extra boulder to jump off of, some balance beam type log activities. Staff thinks we can adjust the berms and make them a little more vertical, because then you can pick up more speed and get ready for some other obstacles as well. Some bigger boulder gardens to go across. This is just another log type beam. They think we have some scrap wood that we've removed that we can turn into obstacles. So you get obstacles like this to get on and move across. This is, I guess it's called a log pyramid. You've got some gravel worked up, and you have a log at the top. You can place a handful of these around. Getting a large boulder out there to crawl across, and then maybe a teeter-totter. And some of these we can buy and then also install ourselves. But when they put the bike park in, we paid attention to how they did it. It doesn't seem, and since we've had it for a few years, our team, I think, is getting better at working the dirt, and we can make small adjustments and improvements if we want to within the park. So this is kind of one phase. This is kind of an in-house phase. The bigger kind of what we're trying to get a contractor to do is fill in this gap that we have between the children's playground and the skills course. And what we want to do is make this expand the kids area north to this. So I think we talked about in the past, one of the ideas when we built this was we have the kids playground, and then you'd have a piece of the pump track they could kind of get on and then get back off. So the kids had a little playground or a little pump track, but then ideally they want to go into the bigger pump track all the time. I don't think that's the case from what we hear. I think you can sometimes you get a lot of smaller children in here. They move a little slower, causes a jam there. So we're trying to create something over here that they would have. This would be constructed out of dirt, and this is what we would hire a team to do. So a mixture of like a pump track, just wobbly course that you can move around. So that's what we're trying to get the contractor in and to do. Also around here is some shade structures. We know we need shade out there. So we've shown conceptually some ideas with the amount we have budgeted this year. We think we can get one or two ordered. We can do a large one. We do show some smaller ones over these areas. I think smaller shade structures are tough because you don't always get a lot of shade with them, or the shade's like off to the side of them. But we're not trying to attack this all at once. This is multi-years as we keep hearing feedback. So they are showing a shade structure located kind of in this corner. And we're thinking of it as a structure you can ride your bike under, stand under with your bike. It's probably not full of a bunch of picnic tables or anything like that, but you can ride in, stop, get back off and go. Probably might not even have concrete underneath it, just be soft surface. But then we show some smaller shade structures where areas where there's these benches. I think you get a bigger bang for the bigger one than doing a bunch of smaller ones, even though right away, I think the bigger one, this is an idea of what that could look like. And as I said, these smaller ones, you can already see like the shades not always underneath them. We added smaller ones at the pickleball courts, and I mean, we're pretty much told they don't work for shade at all. I think you have to stand off in front of them. You don't sit under it and get shade. Is the idea. So I think we're aiming for trying to get a larger one in there first, and then we'll continue to work on probably some smaller ones. Other shade options is more trees. So our town foresters put together a multi-year plan that they've, and the way it's kind of constructed right now is we don't have irrigation set up throughout the park. So these trees are set up in a way that we can take our watering truck out and we can run a hose out and water them, and the hose will reach those distances. So this is showing trees that should start getting plopped in there this year in shade, and hopefully start making some additional shade areas in the future. So we talked about shade, skills course, kids course ad, and the trees. So with that, I'm kind of opening up to you all if you have any suggestions. As I said again, I think our plan where we think it would work is our staff doing some skills course additions, trying to expand the kids play area, and then working on some shade structure and trees. That's kind of the idea where we're to. So, yeah. We'll accept any feedback if you think we're moving in the right direction.
I would just suggest if you like with that large structure, to at least put a couple benches under there.
Mm-hmm.
Like people definitely want somewhere to sit. But I could see, yeah, that you don't need maybe full picnic tables, but somewhere to rest. And with the smaller ones, I mean, I totally understand what you're saying about the lack of shade, but I know they make ones that are tilted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like if you had it southwest, that might be a lot more effective at providing shade than just a straight overhead structure.
Yeah. The other one I'm thinking of is the dog park shade structures.
Oh yeah.
And they do kind of have that.
Yeah.
And that's a similar complaint we've got
Mm.
with those is
Oh, okay.
more shade. And these ones, yeah. You can't, they don't want to sit under the bench under, and they want to stand
Yeah, where
fine
the shade
in
is.
that shade
Yeah,
pocket. So,
that makes sense. Yeah.
But no, I think, I mean, that's just the struggle with the sun here. But I agree with the benches. Some seating in there.
Yeah, I don't really know what my suggestion is, but if you look at, if you go back to the screen where they have the placement of that, so where they have, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, that one, where you have the stage structure, the fence is not too far behind that, and so in the afternoon, when the sun is shining in that way, all of the shade from the shade structure is going to be on the other side of the fence. You know what I mean? Where people can't stand there.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't really have a suggestion, but that's just a observation. When you need it the most, it will not be accessible to you.
I think that's great feedback. Yeah, another area we thought of is like fitting it up in here too, and just pushing this that way.
Yeah, because then the shade would come even onto the road or onto that little green belt in between the road and the park.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
I have a couple questions and then some comments. For the pump track, is there a reason why it's not going to be like asphalt, like the pump track, the asphalt pump track on the left?
I think the first one is cost, and then the second one is feeling like our staff can handle the dirt now, because we set the dirt up and then they go through and they do a glue on top of it to try to keep it harder. Once you set up the dirt, you can pretty much go in later and do the asphalt if you want to. So it is an option to go asphalt for sure, but I think for cost, we were trying to keep it dirt. Yeah.
So is this going to be a fully in-house project then by staff?
This
Is that what I heard, or did I?
this portion would be a contractor coming in,
And doing the dirt?
getting it set up, and then we would just have to maintain it.
Okay. Is it going to be clear that this is like a kids area? Because if it's a different type of material, if it's like this is the asphalt adults track and this is the asphalt kids track, if it's just a dirt kids track, what's to stop adults from going on it, and what's to stop kids from going still on the asphalt track? You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Yeah, I don't think
So-
I don't think we'll lose the kids going on the pump track still, but I think what I'm leaning towards with you is we need to have some good signage. That we're intending this for the smaller ones to utilize it so they have a space. I get exactly what you're
Because
saying.
I could see adults going.
Mhm.
I mean, I could see both happening, right? Like, something like a new toy to play with at the park, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm just a little bit concerned if there's actually going to be a separation that is desired if it's not like an asphalt track with like very clear signage saying this is going to be a kids thing. Do you guys have a budget for this, or was this part of the?
There is $200,000 currently budgeted this year for bike park improvements or expansion, I think is what it might be labeled. And then some of this, we have a maintenance budget of 75,000 for the bike park, and some of these smaller things can probably come out of that as well. We don't, 75,000 is there for if we're gonna do a large reseeding of trying to get some stabilization going. Around the pump track, we do have. You probably noticed around the pump track, the seeding hasn't really took that well. We're getting some erosion, so there is going to be an erosion project going on out there in probably the next month when they do this the bike park maintenance week.
Okay. I just want to shout out to the bike park because our family doesn't go enough, but every time we go, we have an amazing time, and there's always families out there, and it's always fantastic. Like, our kids just love it. So thinking about the shelters a little bit, I know, so if you look where there's a picnic table, Keith, you probably know where the picnic table is.
Oh, those guys make stuff. There's one like over here.
Yep, right
somewhere.
there. Yep. So we find ourselves there a lot because, the kids are playing in the kiddie areas, and that's kind of a nice central place to sit down and take a break. So I kind of echo Carolyn's comments about it would be nice to have a couple picnic tables and, maybe you're bringing lunch and having lunch out there, right? It's just, there's not anywhere to really sit there. And if you're walking your dogs or your kids are tired or you're tired, I think it'd be great to have a couple picnic tables. So I would support that. And then I also like the idea that was just brought up about the shelter. I think just north and a little bit west of that picnic table, right where the kids area and the asphalt pump track meet, that is always just full of people. The parents are watching their kids. It's just like a common gathering space. So I think, Carrie, I like whoever's idea it was to have a really big shelter. If you move that, right there, Keith,
Yeah.
I think that would get used a lot, and I think people would appreciate it too, just having like a shady spot to be. I don't know if it's going to cause traffic issues if people are flying off of the new track, but I think having a big shelter structure, the bang for the buck, however that looks, I think that would be great to have. And maybe it's 2 big ones and no small ones. I don't know, but I just know that's a really popular gathering area for folks. Another area where I was thinking maybe you could have a shade structure. Keith, can you go one more slide or 2? Okay, yeah, so there's another common gathering place. You got, right where your cursor is, actually a little bit to the left, right where the start of right there.
Mhm.
You've got kind of the start of that course, and then where I don't even know what you call it, the hills right there meet. I don't know if you have a small shade structure there. I know a lot of people gather by the trees. Maybe you have it just kind of extend that shade by those mature trees by number 1. But that might also be a nice place to have a shade shelter too.
You're
Somewhere around there where
this-
kind of all that converges.
Yep. Okay.
You could even do it a little bit north where kind of the end point is. I don't know, but just somewhere around there might be a good place too.
You know what I think both those spots have in common is they're both elevated, and so you can stand there and see the whole track, and so that tends to be where people, on the little pump track, people can stand up there and watch their kids on because it's elevated, and right here they can watch their friends all go, and they kind of queue up there. It is nice. There are always people there cheering and watching and yapping.
I do think, Amanda, it would be great to get a program for kids out there. I mean, for sure, teaching them skills, and there's definitely clubs like in Fort Collins and Boulder, but I'm sure they have lots of instructors that probably would do like a 6-week thing over the summer, or every Saturday for a month or whatever. Like, I think that'd be great to add that to our rec programming. I bet it would be a popular.
Like a bike-a-palooza.
Yeah, because if you don't have family, like if you don't have people that do it, then learning those skills, or even for adults. I mean, I know adults that go to clinics, skills clinics, even some at the bike park. So that would just be a good program to add, I think.
Have any of you all jumped on the shed yet?
No.
Has anybody?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm always looking when I drive by, waiting to see someone come bombing through that.
Oh yeah. No.
I just see
there's-
broken bones and headaches, and I just don't.
Yep.
No,
that's-
they do it.
that's
They
what
make it
I've
look so
heard.
easy too. Like the littlest kids.
Yeah.
I think kind of feeding on that, things like opportunity through like the rec menu, if you will, is, and I don't know what this looks like, but I think when I look at something like this, I see a lot of opportunity for like Eagle Scout projects, because that's another resource that we can, I wouldn't say tap into, because then it makes it sound like we're going to rely on that, but there's definitely, like, if you go run around the reservoir, you'll see the benches that were installed. Like, those are always things that are coming up on really a yearly basis. So, maybe
Well, and one of
there's-
them just did a trail something. And I can't remember where, but
yeah, just
I
if there's a
just
way we can
saw it again.
maybe
Like he
encourage
just did a
that
trail
or-
maintenance.
Yeah,
thing
it's
for
definitely a
his
good spot.
project.
I can't remember if one of them did a bike repair kit station there or not, or if that was they started with us and then they did it in a different area.
They did it, ended up doing it in Loveland.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we've had some reach out that just didn't fall through with it,
Got
with
it.
adding a station. 'Cause we started with one at the restroom, and then maybe I think, tried to get one here. Yeah. So, yeah, very good spot for it. Lots of bench areas.
Yeah.
I
mean,
even if they want to build,
like you mentioned, erosion control, like that's a great one. So,
if they ever came to me with an erosion control project, that would be
Well, that's what
That
the
would be
kid
incredible.
that just did.
Yeah.
What
That
is
would
his
be-
name? Anyway, he just did. They just posted a picture of it. It's like a rock berm kind of thing on. Nah, I can't remember what trail it is, but somewhere up in the mountains. A birthday kid just did like a trail
Cool.
maintenance thing for his Eagle Scout project.
Is that like, can you suggest those things? Can you be like, hey, if you're in Berthoud and you're looking for a project, we have some thoughts.
don't
Is that
know.
a
I mean,
thing?
maybe.
Oh, what were like
Like-
it?
Like, put something out there like, hey, Eagle Scouts, if you live in the Berthoud area, these are some things that we would entertain for projects that we could help you, support you, mentor you.
So they're supposed to be the ones that come up with it, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's all about. I mean, I figured we were getting all the Eagle Scouts in Berthoud. I figured
Well,
we were
and
the
I think
first
there's
stop
only
because
one a year, or I mean, like
Yeah.
it's very rare, so it's also not like there's a big
Yeah.
flood of projects. I think it's
Right.
pretty.
we talk with
Few and far
probably a few people a year, whether it's gold awards for Girl Scouts, I believe is what they go through. They have I can't remember the other one, but they do gold awards, and then the Boy Scouts do the Eagle Scout projects, and then yeah, I mean they come to us. They usually have a few options. We go, okay, if it's going to be in a park, has to be able to easily maintained, or our staff's going to take it on. And so we give them all the stuff like, is it ADA compliant? We tell them all these things, and then they come back to us again, and we kind of work through it. We pick a location, and then they set it all up and do it themselves usually. So, and that's the goal. We tell them, how are you going to fund it? And we work on all that with them.
And I would say, I don't know, I just know my parents live at Horsetooth and they do trail maintenance all the time. And so, like, through the county, I was just thinking as far as, like, trail building, like, maybe reach out to Larimer County and ask who they, like, I don't know if they have people in-house that do that type of work or if they have contractors that they,
Oh, for like the bike trail building?
yeah.
I'm not sure. So our staff has worked with Valmont staff. Erie has, I don't know if it's a bike course, bike track. We'll go we go back and forth on maintenance days sometimes. Like we'll go down there when they're during their maintenance days and watch how they're doing things, and they'll come check our stuff out. And so it's kind of they've got our staff has created this little network.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about dirt and what are you mixing in the dirt and things like that.
And riders have a lot of opinions about
Yeah.
about the dirt.
I think I got all the feedback. That was great.
Any public discussion about the bike park? Any comments? All right, the Pioneer Park Garden.
Got it. Can I interrupt and say I forgot to? We have a new member here, a new liaison, Casey Grace.
Yes.
Stepping up. So I didn't know if we needed to talk about rules or anything, or anyone to
I don't
what
know.
usually happens here.
I continue to be the sole guy on the committee
Thank you.
since Sean left.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
guess
would
my,
say.
my biggest question I had coming in is, I guess it's not really a question, it's more of a request, is just until I get the hang of things, help guide me in where, how I need to support everyone in Port, back with the trustees.
Yeah, sounds good. Usually, like you're welcome to comment if you know have something. But sometimes we'll ask you, if it was discussed at a board meeting or where the status is or something. And then if we have something specific we want you to bring to the board, then we will say that as well.
Awesome.
I think synopsis. Okay.
I mean, usually if we have a motion, we assume that's getting carried to the board. But if there's any nuances, like you said, Carolyn, any specifics that we talked about that we really want to get carried to the board, that's where you come in.
Okay, perfect. I'll make sure
Otherwise, yeah, I
I
would
check in and recap to make sure I've captured everything.
Yeah, it's generally just, I think you just give sort of a synopsis generally, and if there's something very specific we want you to mention, then we'll let you know.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you all. Next agenda item then? Pioneer-
Park Garden.
Yes. I probably have to reload that one. I guess, well, now that I see that, for public comment, I did leave that note with y'all from Whitney. We can include that in minutes as well. I forgot to bring that up during public comment as well. But just you did receive the email, and I did let Whitney know we are working on trying to get one of the restrooms available for Four Seasons for next season. So,
What kind of retrofitting do you have to do to? Is it just? Is it
Adding
mostly
a
about
heater-
insulating the pipes?
adding a heater to one of the restrooms, and then adding like a heat trace around the piping in there is our first option that we think will work.
Is that Town Park? we're
Yes.
talking about?
So, working to get one of those available.
What's the kind of the time frame you guys are looking at completing that?
Oh, just before next winter. So before November.
For the next season,
October,
the next
November? Yeah.
Okay.
the next
Yeah.
closure. Yeah,
Okay.
makes
Mhm.
sense.
Is there any concern about that becoming an attractive nuisance?
That
And I'm not trying to look down on other,
Mhm.
obviously we get people that pass through moving north and stuff.
that is the I mean it's really there's a couple things that happen with the Four Season restrooms. 5 years ago we didn't have any that were Four Season. Now we have the bike park, Fickle Park, Wagner, and yeah, there's issues with people going in there, trying to lock the doors sometimes. A lot of smoking in them, things like that happen. So ways we kind of manage it. We work with sheriff's office. We work with, a lot of times you have to lock that restroom for a couple weeks, and then reopen it again. that might work. So
I would say that if that did become a challenge, just like based on reading what she has written here, is if the town's able to message that, just so that way there isn't a perception of like, oh hey, like they said that they're doing one thing and now they're doing another, because people get really quick to fire off messages and stuff on social media, and that's obviously something we're always going to be up against.
yeah, we'll probably just put up it's just closed for maintenance for a while, something like that. Okay. This Pioneer Park one's an interesting one. In that, I have a better picture of this right here. Okay. This little section, I can't remember staff ever having to take care of it. When the development occurred, it then, what was noticed is that the development was finished, and we're like, what about this whole section? And then they're like, oh, that's the town's. We're like, oh, so we had just kind of missed it, I guess is what happens sometimes. I believe it was a farm field before, so the farmer probably just mowed it and kept it mowed. So it's just this little area. And this expansion, if you're not familiar, Pioneer Park's been expanded a couple times. You had, I believe it originally started as just the south field, and then they had an expansion where they installed the hills and the pavilion and the pond. And then just recently, when this development went through, they donated this chunk to the town, and this so expanded again. So we took on, Pioneer Park continues to grow. What's unique is it's the shared between us and an HOA boundary. So we take care of everything inside of the trail. We take care of up around here. We do not take care of this section. This is a HOA. This section right here is HOA, but we start taking over right here. So with this little area that we're gonna start having, that we did take over maintenance on. So we had an idea to add another kind of garden area over here, and just wanted to share that with you all. Our staff had pretty good success with the community garden. I have that shown right here. Our staff did everything but the structure, the pergola, and the fencing. But our staff, and then we also had a contractor come in and regrade the slope and everything and set it up for us. But our staff came in and built these beds and set it up with Bertha Local, who runs the community garden. So our staff is they're getting pretty talented with smaller projects that we think we can take on and do in-house. So jumping back up, so here's our little area, a garden type area, low maintenance shrubs, flowers, plantings that don't take a lot of water, easy maintenance. So we definitely have a boundary here with this neighbor. We'd probably put some type of split rail fence in so we can create that boundary. Or as we've learned, neighbors like to come over and start maintaining town property, and that's something we try to avoid. So conceptually, we'd create some kind of path. We'd have a variety of plantings in here, trees added in, and then these barricades are something we do at the end of pretty much all dead ends in town. We believe this is a pretty low traffic dead end. It's a low speed dead end. We think we can add some boulders. We'll probably put some wood posts here with some reflective tape on it, so it still has a reflectiveness to it. And then kind of beautify this dead end up. We do get complaints about, having these barricades at the end here. So we do think, we've talked with Northern Water about it. Northern Water has some grant programs for projects like this. Those don't start till the fall. So I think, I don't know if our staff would start this in the fall, but there's possibly some funding from Northern Water to take care of a decent chunk of this and work with them on it. They've helped fund a variety of projects for us in the past. So that's what we think we would do with this area. Low maintenance. It'd create a garden on this side of the park. So when you're coming down the trail, you know, you'd first run into a nice garden planting area, and then you'd enter into the park. If you guys remember, I think last year we showed you a Gaga pit. The Gaga pit was installed. It sounds like it's a hit out there, but that's inside the park. So you guys want another Gaga pit here, or have any other ideas? Let me know. But
For the newbie, what is a Gaga pit?
It's like
Gaga ball.
yeah, it's a round or octagonal. I don't know. It's like a pit that you place with a ball, like a soccer ball, but the goal is to not get hit with the ball.
It's like dot. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like
the ball
dodgeball, you
stays on
can't
the ground,
throw-
but you're like jumping around, but it's in an enclosed, like, I don't know, 8 feet or something.
Mm-hmm.
Kids love it.
Awesome.
Like, yeah. I'm not describing
Oh.
it well, but
It's like it's
That's cool.
yeah. It's
You gotta ask the question.
it is quite popular. It just makes me think, were there any comments when the volleyball courts were removed, the sand volleyball courts
that we had out here,
at Town Park?
Town Park. I don't
Or like
remember.
by the pool? Like, does anyone want volleyball courts back?
I
was
have
just
not heard
curious.
any. A sand volleyball court.
I was just curious if that just made me think of.
It does look like a volleyball court.
But if there hasn't been a lot of noise around, I mean, I haven't heard anything. I didn't feel like people were in an uproar when that went away. So, yeah, as long as don't put pickleball there. But yeah, I think it's a great idea.
How utilized is the community garden on the other side? Like, is it always full of? Last time I saw it, it was low and in the ground, and it was always full of stuff that people were planting. Like, well,
I see. So Bertha Local runs it, so I believe they fill it all in and take care of it.
okay. And you're saying that in this area that it would be something similar to that people could also plant, like Bertha Local would use that to plant, or you're just saying you would plant things there?
Staff would plant it and staff would take care of it, and this would just be, you know, perennial type plantings.
Okay, so not like the garden in the picture, in the previous pictures.
Correct.
Okay.
Not like
Not like
not
this.
like this.
Oh,
Kind of similar to, you know, this is one of those gold awards that was done by Kenyan Girl Scout. So she has the pollinator garden. She has a nice sign that she had made and installed there, and then our staff takes it on. So it's something similar to kind of go with that theme.
okay.
Blend that
Well,
in.
and the
with parking
dead
lot.
end picture kind of shows it. If you go back to that one.
Yeah, I was thinking this was gonna, the yellow was gonna be the like a garden thing, but that's the path. The
Correct.
trail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But if you go to the picture where you had the the examples of the dead end, then you could see the plantings. I feel like that showed.
Yeah, I think that's what was throwing me
That
off because I
bottom
was
one.
looking for some place
Yeah.
that people were gonna plant their own stuff in there, but no,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah, so we'll probably leave it up to our town forester and his open space staff and forestry staff. There are unofficial horticulture department is what I call them. So they're currently working on the landscaping around the pickleball courts there, getting that project wrapped up. That was installed in the expansion area. So yeah, and I was just gonna see if you guys had any comments for it or thoughts on it.
I really like the configuration B with the shrubs. I like your idea of having reflective tape or whatever you want to call it, some sort of reflectors. I think that's a great idea. I think it's a great use of just kind of making some dead space look nice. And if I lived with my house against in the back there, I'd be really happy to see some nice shrubs. So I think it's great, low cost option. And if you can get some funding from Northern Water, that would be great. Are you guys gonna go for it this year, or are you gonna wait till 27?
So we would start talks with them this summer. I think the funding I think it's a 1 month application that starts in the fall, and they work with us really well. So I think they've expressed they would support this project. But then we can probably start getting it graded and stuff and getting it ready, and maybe the plantings are bought next year. It just depends on the cost. We might have funding to do it all this year too. As it's just, it's some quick grading. Our staff can take care of that. Trail material, mulch, and plantings. And your comment about the house, looking at the house, Town Park, we were able to do that. We call it like the Memorial Garden over towards the west of the park. It's that circular zone, and those neighbors, they loved it so much that they had a wooden fence and they put up a black rail fence so they could look straight through and see it all the time. So trying to do something that beautiful. All right. More comments? All right. Thank you all. And then, as requested, added the Berthoud Arboretum. So I'm just going to share kind of an update of what's happened since we put the project out for bid. We received the bids April 7th. We put the bid numbers into a board consent item. The board of trustees that night pulled it. There was a motion to pull funding or hold funding until 2030, and that motion passed. So with that, we're still working on our runs, the due diligence with the bids and talking with preferred contractor to kind of wrap up the costs and for the park. The other updates, the tree advisory committee is planning to do a presentation later this month with the board. Am I okay to say it's the benefits of an arboretum, or is that okay? Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you. I know he's on the tree advisory committee. That's why I looked at him. So that's, as I understand, that's kind of the next time it would go to the board. It would be possibly that, unless the board asks us to bring it forward in any way again. They can make that choice. I will share the budget. I know the numbers say $12.4 million. When you look at the bids, yes, we have a lot in that project. We have a lot of things designed in that project. We have 5 or 6 play areas and play structures and things like that, and stuff like that can be scaled back pretty easily. And it's designed so it can always be added in later if so chosen. The board can also, if they look at it later on, can also approve more funding for it, however they want to do that with the project. But talking with the contractor, we feel pretty good that we can get a project down in that original estimate, closer to $8.5 million. That's still pretty much, unless you've 100% of the project, you're going to think it's a pretty incredible property. It definitely gets it all started, gets all the trails in there, gets all the structures, not structures, but irrigation, everything you would need to run the arboretum, a whole bunch of plantings, a whole bunch of ornamental stuff. But I'll take the play areas as an example. Like if you're removing something, there's like these little play huts. There's like 5 of them down on the south side. Those are $110,000, and we can pull that out and save it for another time, and always put those in at another time if we wanted to. But those are just decisions we have to work through and make. So
But it's on hold.
it's
So
sitting on hold.
It's on hold right now till 2030. So
Mhm.
this getting down to these numbers, there's not really any work on it right now because it's on hold.
Yeah,
Correct? Or
we're just kind of wrapping it up with the contractor to understand if it did come back, do we have a project, closer to what we originally budgeted.
but it's probably not going to be $8.5 million in 2030.
But it could come back anytime between now and 2030. Like, at the next, I mean, I think that's my understanding. Theoretically, at the next board meeting, someone could make a motion and they could choose to refund it. I'm not saying that will happen, but it's not.
Mhm.
The 2030 is what was voted on now, but anything could happen between now and then.
Mhm.
Am I correct in that?
I believe so. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
contractor could could say like, hey, we could do this for 8 million, and then tree committee could come in and be like, but this is so important, and port could say this is so important, and then it would be like, okay.
So we did talk about at the last meeting, because I think there was already a presentation scheduled to happen to be, to give into the board after the bids came back, and so we decided as a board to move forward with that and see the presentation, which is I think where the tree committee is coming in to provide, to provide updates on that, and then I think from there. We'll have another decision to make of do we then continue moving forward and talking about the arboretum. So it's kind of that's the very next step. But it did come up in the last meeting that there were several board members that wanted to have more discussion on the arboretum and on the costs. So the conversation is not gone.
Okay. And what meeting is the presentation for the tree committee?
Yeah,
May 26th?
26th. Yeah.
May 26th.
Public comment or any more questions?
Yeah. Is any?
Oh, I got comments. How in the heck did this happen? Like, we've had, I went back to the timeline that I put together since 2023. I think we've had at least 10 meetings on this. Port committee meetings, joint port tree advisory committee meetings. We've had it with board members. I think we've had multiple motions come forth through the port committee, expressing our support, expressing urgency to get design documents fully completed. Everybody has been in support of this. It's been unanimous support. It's been in the budget for 2 years. And then 5 to 7 minutes and this thing gets killed without any discussion, any thought to it. I'm just extremely disappointed in this project. Like, Eleanor, I saw she had a note too, right before the meeting. I think she was saying, this arboretum should be celebrated, is what I remembered from her. I think this was one of her first meetings. So I for one, am just really disappointed at just like the total lack of wanting to even engage or learn more about this or discuss it when we had so much consensus. Like, this aligns with the 2018 port survey, it aligns with the 2024 port survey. I just have no idea how this totally fell apart, and I'm interested to learn more about how things like this can not happen in the future. Like, how can we go 3 years working on a project and then have it, we're on step 8 out of 10 and then just have it killed? Like, that's just really disappointing, and I feel like there's like some sort of process failure or some sort of communication failure through that, where not everyone is informed about what's going on or something. I don't know, but I think it's definitely an opportunity for improvement, and I'm just really disappointed that it fell apart when we had so much committee support and even board support, like multiple meetings, like this project actually had a process. I'm also kind of disappointed that in January was our last time that we had to comment, and then we haven't, our committee, and I don't think Tree has like seen the latest design that went to bid. Like, we put in comments and then it just went to bid, and we haven't had like any feedback or input since, and obviously a lot's happened since January, so I think another opportunity for improvement would be just, I'm trying to understand how our committee is, like, I feel like our committee is seen as the people that should kind of be like the voice of these projects and to kind of have some expertise, and I'm just trying to understand how we can do a better job of like having better feedback mechanism of some sort. Like, I think there's a lot of opportunity for process improvements too, but that can be worked on later. But more than anything, I'm just really disappointed with how everything went down in just the 5 minutes.
Can I add to that before you go to your other things? One other thing that I would put out there is I understand that, you know, there's different processes, procedures. The board's going to do one thing, we're going to advise another thing. It isn't necessarily a good look as a town for prospective future donations of land or cooperative agreements when, you know, I'm looking at you two. When you reach out to the town and you say, hey, you know, we would like, here's our vision, here's what we'd like to do, and then we're just juggling the ball back and forth. You know, like you're sitting there and you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, I'd like to have a legacy here, but if we can't get something across the finish line, why would I want to have that legacy? And I think that, to your comments, Anna, it's incredibly frustrating, and I would even go so far as to say when I saw that, it was an absolute buzzkill. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on it. But I think we're shooting ourselves in the foot by getting these parcels donated and, you know, just sitting on our laurels and not doing anything with it. So
I absolutely agree, and I think that it went so far as to go to bid. I thought it was a done deal. I thought even if they were like, hey, it's okay to scale it back and do what we can afford because we can't afford the bid that you've given us, obviously would be an option, but to table it until 2030, I was a bit floored as well. I agree. I didn't realize that that was an option. So it's been a lot of work. It was something everyone was very excited about.
Keith, question for you on that. Was the construction of the Arboretum, was that like a motion made to like formally put that in the budget, or was that coming up to be allocated?
It's been allocated for the past 2 years in the budget.
Okay.
The board approved the budget. I don't know when it was, Keith, November of last year for 26 budget, but it was also in the budget prior. It's been in the budget for 2 years.
For the construction
So that's
of it.
even more, yeah, it was like, what, I don't know what was in the budget,
Okay.
like 10 million or something? 8.5 million, I don't know what the number is. But it's like, it was like to your point, Carrie, it was like planned, right? Like it was in the budget and the board said, yes, I approve this budget, which they can do what they want. They can change things, right? But in some regards, they're saying, yes, I agree that this money should be allocated here, right? And honestly, Keith, I think it's kind of a slap in the face to the staff too, because we're here putting our time in, but you guys are really the ones that are putting your time in. You guys have been working on this for 3 years too. So it's kind of a waste of dollars beyond just, you know, it's dollars and time.
Dollars, time, and excitement. You know, like you know, and it's a project people were excited about, and it is a buzzkill. That's a good word for it.
I guess personally, I saw it as purely political, and I'm hopeful that it is not going to stick and the project will continue to move forward. But maybe I'm naive in hoping for that. So, I mean, I guess reminds us that, yes, while we can have recommendations and opinions, ultimately we are not the voting members. So unfortunately, like, they're allowed to do that. But I hope, you know, we have a whole new board, and so time will tell.
We all are in agreement. I don't think it hurts to make a motion.
Sure.
Right now, to maybe express our support for the Arboretum.
Yeah.
And I don't know what tree, what have you guys done? Have you guys? Is there anything specific that we can do to support tree committee? Like, whether it's showing up at that meeting or at one of your meetings, whether it's your preparation meeting or the actual board meeting, just to show our support?
Good. Does someone want to make a motion?
I didn't have anything in mind.
Specifically in mind?
I'm just hearing that we have consensus, and I
Yeah.
feel like if we don't make motions, nothing happens ever. So if we make a motion, we can at least you relay that to the board.
Yeah, is it a motion of like we disagree with
Sure.
the decision?
Yeah,
and
and
that
you
that
sup-
is our motion.
Sure, and we disagree with the decision, and we continue to support the Arboretum, and I don't know, what do you guys?
Yeah, I think that sounds great. We disagree. We support the project moving forward, even if it's a scaled back version, to fit into the budget that was already approved for it. This year?
Yeah.
This fiscal year, since it's in the budget.
Maybe ask the board to reevaluate
Yeah.
their decision.
We strongly think they should reevaluate that decision.
How fast
That was
can
a
you type?
loaded motion.
I'm trying to type it tactfully. All right. So we were in a motion to express the Port Committee's disagreement with the Board of Trustees' decision regarding the Arboretum project, and the Port Committee requests the board revisit this project.
I would maybe add, like, given that the funding has already been approved or something, that it's
Yeah.
we're this far into it.
Given previous budgetary allocations and I don't want to say like amount of work put into
Well,
it at
or
this
say-
point,
No,
but
but
say
just the
board
alignment
and
with the
committee
survey,
support.
alignment with the community,
or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
alignment with the community needs or desires.
got it. In alignment with community desires.
And I don't know if you already said it or not, but if you want to scale it back to what we can afford, obviously that's great.
Well, I'd
but
say-
don't table it.
Evaluate, I mean, I think maybe the next step would be wherever this goes, right? If the bids came in too high, have staff evaluate, areas that can be, whatever you want to call it, right?
Value engineered.
Or cut,
Yeah.
which is different than value engineering.
Postponed. Reduced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to reevaluate options to get the budget more in line with the bids more in line with the budget.
So Additionally, port requests that staff value engineer based on bid amounts received to bring bids into alignment with budgetary allocation.
Yeah.
Mhm. Correct. It's water and sewer utilities, and the best way to describe it is that's separate. So there's about $900,000 worth of utilities in that bid. That's paid for out of a different budgetary fund. That's water or enterprise fund. They get money from selling water and sewer services. So it's a different fund. It's not part of the project. It's just the other way to describe it is sometimes when we want to go pave a road, we have to wait until the water department gets in there and fixes, they want to update the lines, and then they update their water lines on the road, and then we go and pave it, make it look all nice. But the project doesn't depend on these utilities. It's just we're going to do this project. It doesn't make sense for water and sewer to come in afterwards and tear up the arboretum and
So
install
that's
water and
not
sewer.
water for irrigating the arboretum.
No,
Okay.
no. It's our project engineer is better at understanding all these numbers, but they're bringing larger services down that would then connect to possibly Legacy. Is that Legacy there on the corner?
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe when the rec center and north side of Wagner Farm Park was built, those utilities were bigger and they were brought down with that project, and then those we could just expanded and brought down, because the arboretum, has a restroom. That is a little service line that is not requiring all this water improvements.
Got it. Okay.
But there is a lot of irrigation on the site that would be set up. Right now it's set up for potable, not non-pot. The non-pot thing would come in a little bit. It's set up to be ready for that. It's just there's other pieces. It's part of being in an area that's growing and not everything's around it's ready as we'd like it to be. But
Keith, how many water shares are tied to that property?
on the property, it's two
Okay.
shares of Love Lincoln Ditch. Yeah.
And that doesn't mean much to me, but I guess how I'm interpreting that, or what I understand, is that we've got plenty of water to do what we want to do with that arboretum, right? If it were to come to fruition. Is that correct?
Correct.
There's
What?
more than enough water to take care of all the trees and all of the everything, right?
Yes, whether it's potable or non-potable, we're good.
Because I
We're
feel
fine.
like I think this year's highlighting the challenges that we're having with drought right now, and we want this arboretum to last for hundreds of years, right? If it goes forward, which hopefully it does. But I guess my point is if it gets to that point, not shorting the irrigation piece,
Mhm.
like making sure that we have the bones, the good infrastructure to support this project for years to come. I
Absolutely.
think would be like my personal, like, kiddie play area stuff is great. I'm all about that, but maybe that's something that could be budgeted for in another year, right? But like, I just feel like it's important to do it once, do it right type thing, at least on the bones with like the irrigation piece.
Correct. We're on the same page with that as well.
But that makes sense. I thought the extra, because they talked about that in the meeting, that a certain dollar amount was for, well, I thought it was for setting up like the irrigation for the property, but it's not. It's it's like,
running larger sewer lines, water lines through
Yeah.
it, yeah. That come
Makes
down
sense.
and then
but that won't happen. They will only do that. They were only going to do that because the project was going through. They didn't necessarily need it yet. Like, that's not going to happen regardless. You know what I'm asking?
it would have happened one day regardless.
Right.
Right.
But maybe not.
It just makes
soon.
sense to do it now while we're
Yeah.
doing our project as well. Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion. We need a second.
I'll second it.
You made the motion? Oh, did I?
All right.
We all kind of made
You
the
can't second
motion.
your own motion.
That was a joint effort.
You can. Carrie made the motion, and I will second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Do you want to see if there's public
Yeah.
comment?
Anybody have any more comments? Okay. Do we have public comment about the Arboretum?
knew I had to say something. Of course. I know when you see me out there, you're probably all rolling your eyes going, oh my gosh, there she is again. The first thing I want to say is that I really appreciate all of the hours and effort that has gone into the Arboretum so far.
Can you give me
I've been
name and
to
address
one.
before you go any further? No problem.
Jane Blair.
Spell your last name for him.
Yep.
It's Dielher. And my address is 980 Mountain Avenue.
980.
So I really appreciate all the hours that you've all put into it, because it's been long and tedious, and you had to talk about various parts of it over and over again. I feel like all of that effort has produced a good plan, and I, like you, was completely blindsided by that decision to postpone it to 2030, because 2030 is quite a ways out there in the future, and a lot can change between now and then. So I, of course, would like to see this move ahead quickly. And I also would really encourage you to be very clear with the board your support. So I heard your motion, but I also think if you are up to making any kind of presentation to them about it, it would be helpful. Because I think that's kind of what your role is to continue to advise the board about, the projects that we're talking about. I just did want to address the point that was made earlier about families or individuals who made donations to the town of property. And we do think that there's a legacy to that. We do it for a reason. We do it for the citizens of our community. And I think that when it is disregarded or left vacant, it doesn't really honor what was done. And I think I'm one of the last members of the Wagner family that are around here, but that's the way I feel about it, is that, when they keep putting it off or letting that field sit full of weeds, I feel like that's not honoring the legacy or the donation that was made in the past. And that field really is a travesty. So no matter what happens, whether the board goes ahead with the Arboretum or not, something's got to be done with that, because that's bad. I think it's bad driving into town to see that. So that's something that I feel strongly about. And then just lastly, Keith, I wanted to ask you if any discussion has ever occurred with Northern Water about the Arboretum.
Yeah.
Because it just seems like that would be a resource maybe we'd like to tap at some point. So I don't know if that's happened. I don't know if that could happen, but it's something that I would definitely think would be a good idea.
I know our project engineer has shared the project with them. I believe we sent it over a couple times through the steps, and they're supportive of the project. I don't think they got into anything like sponsoring or anything like that, but I can check on that. I can check on that.
Think about if we are able to move forward with this project, maybe there's a role for them to play.
Okay.
So that's really all I have. I thank you very much for all you put into this. I will definitely be at the board meeting when this is discussed again, and I hope that we can prevail and get this Arboretum started. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I follow up on that? We've been kind of talking about it, but not really doing anything about it. Your point about the presentation. So my understanding is Tree is working on a presentation, right? So I feel like having some solidarity with the Tree Committee would be good. Like, we've been with them. We've had joint meetings with you guys. Is that something we can help with or contribute to? I don't know what the rules are with, collaborating and all that, but like, is that something that our committee, if it's too much, if it's better, you guys just do it, but is that something we can help and contribute to in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and I think certainly, you know, any port members that are able to attend the meeting on the 26th would be great.
I think it would be very valuable for the entire board to hear. I mean, I'm going to relay these comments as well, but also coming from board members, I think it would be very beneficial, especially the points about all of the support that the Arboretum has received between the different committees, even with some of the board members. Yeah, I think the more voices that come forward to speak on it, the more information we're going to get to have during that meeting.
Can we get like an email or something when we know more about the work session details? Just letting our committee know that I don't want to invite ourselves, but I kind of want to invite ourselves to this meeting, or just letting our committee know that there's a work session and would be an opportunity for us to contribute anything we want to that.
Yep, I'll check on that, and if there's members that want to go, we can. I think we have to post like we do ahead of time. There's a work session and be tree advisory members and port committee members present to work on some.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a joint work session because I don't think that's been decided, but just making the port committee aware that tree committee's having a work session.
Yeah.
I think would be great.
And just as a reminder to the email point, you can't collaborate via email because that will create an open meeting.
Any other public comment about the Arboretum?
On what other people have said, just appreciative of how much time the port committee has put into this, as well as tree advisory and staff. And I wouldn't know how to calculate those hours, but just staff's time on this is just a waste of money, in my opinion, to stop now. If it did wait 4 years, it's going to be a different project. You know, you can't just take these numbers and even the design concepts. So things change, you know. So I think it's a terrible waste of tax dollars to come this far, and just it seemed like an arbitrary, you know, sudden reversal, particularly of a trustee who we thought was on board all this time. The other thing, I went to the tree advisory committee the other night, and I think it's the tree advisory's definition to represent the trees, to represent the Arboretum. But as the port committee, I think you can step out of just the Arboretum. And this is also representing the #1 survey highlight of trails. That was #1 that came
Number
in.
three.
Number what was it?
Number 1 and number 3, Biking slash running trails and open space.
and open space, you know, and what we keep getting is this pressure from the side, that somehow if you support ball fields, you can't support the arboretum. It's two completely different things. The funding, Chris Kirk has always, not always, has reiterating the last few meetings before this, it's not an either or. The funding's there, and the ball fields and the pool, that's 4 years out. I mean, even if you got started, you've got to come up with the funding mechanism, and the funding mechanism could be a whole nother ball of wax. How we're going to get there. So I don't know how we got to this position of just suddenly it's going to be pushed out. I think there's a lot of support for it in the community, a lot of it. I was late coming here because I had an appointment, and the person said to me, seems to me, I mean, I was just so angry when I heard about that, no more arboretum. And it seems to me that young people want the ball fields and old people want the arboretum. I thought, well, you know, I don't think you can divide things up like that. But if it has to be, you know, let's get something for the seniors, well then let's get the arboretum for the seniors and the trails for the cyclists. There's something for everybody in this park, and it seems like passive recreation is not really seen as recreation. It's something that everybody can use, where not everybody can use the ball fields. Not everybody's going to use the lazy river or the outdoor pool. But this is something that can be used all year long, and I just appreciate you going forward and trying to give another push for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Anything else from I think we're ready for staff reports.
Okay, couple items. We usually do a tour in June. I'm working on it. I don't have. In June we are gonna see the Newell Farm project again. So I wasn't planning on doing the tour that day. Then it's possible. I'm trying to see if some areas are open for us to go to. Because I'd like to. I have an idea for some ideas. If you have any ideas that you'd like to see on the tour, I could let me know now.
I've
Or
never been to Richardson.
Okay.
Seems like it might be an important one to visit for this tour. I've
I guess we've never like
Yeah.
never been. Never stepped foot over there.
okay. Any other spots? That's a good one.
I know everyone went to Newell Farm Park last year, 2 years ago, but I missed that. So that's something.
Okay.
If there's
It
time
might
for
be
it, because I
good
know
to
everyone else
see
has
it
already
now
been.
that,
Yeah.
like when we're looking at the designs now and trying to picture like where, like last time when she was describing where the trees were, you know, then when I was driving by, I was trying to like look where she
Yeah.
was talking.
It would be cool
so
to
that might be-
overlay it.
I almost
Nice
drift
to
into
see.
oncoming traffic when I drive by. 'Cause I'm like looking and I'm like, oh, yep.
It would
After
be
I go
nice to
through the
have
shoe
a
fly.
overlay
Yes.
of
Yes.
Newell Farm
The
Park
shoe fly.
plan and see what this is where they.
If the June was the date, would anybody want to do it in June? So we'd have to start at. Usually we start at what 4:30 or 5. I think 5. When we've been starting it, and then we get back here by 6:15, have the meeting. So
For me, I don't know. I would be fine with that, but
that'd be June 3rd. So if that became open, I was trying to see if something else was going to become available too.
We could always go to, forget what it's called, the Heron Lakes one. That trail.
the rookery.
Rookery, thank you. That'd be cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe Town Park Phase 2 area. Just
Phase
visualize.
2. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Everyone seen Jaskowski?
Only on a map. Only on a map.
Okay, that might be.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
We might have to start earlier.
Had to whittle this
Yeah,
list.
those are all over
Yeah,
the place. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas, but
Discuss.
Can't take a golf cart. No.
Okay, got it. That works. And then yeah, we'll see Newell in the first meeting in June as well. That will be your last time to provide comment on the concept design, and then the board will provide feedback as well later that month on the concept, and then that concept kind of gets wrapped up, and then if there's support, the board can decide if they want us to move forward with construction documents or anything. That'd be the next phase of that. So there's a lot of support, a lot of good feedback coming back already. So I think that's it. So I think I'm done. You got anything, Amanda? School's getting out.
Okay. Committee updates. Do you have anything, Cloud?
say welcome to Casey. Welcome, Casey.
Thank you.
Committee.
Excited to be here.
Anything? I forgot to say this last time. I was invited to the historic committee is doing a an action plan for the town, and they were reviewing kind of all of what they want to put in this plan. And I guess at Oktoberfest and A Very Merry Birthday, they had a tent, and they were asking for feedback. And on the presentation of like historic sites to preserve, the town park ball fields were on the list, which made me chuckle. And then so I asked if that was it was like multiple choice but it was just a free writing, so people could write in whatever so they weren't given options. They could just write in whatever they wanted. But apparently enough people wrote in those ball fields as a historic part of town that should be preserved. So I know when we first designed Town Park, that was probably the biggest comments we got was about removing those ball fields. And I know logistically all the reasons why the town wants to and why that makes sense. But I just thought that was funny that people see that as, when the Historic Preservation Committee is looking at, barns and buildings downtown that are very old, and the citizens see these ball fields. And
But I don't think that's the first time that's been brought up. We had a comment on this committee about wanting to keep the ball fields and doing Richardson ball fields.
No, but
So
I mean,
I feel like that is a topic
it's
that's
not
going to
new,
come up
for
again,
sure.
And needs to probably be fleshed out because it's a real thing.
yeah, for
You
sure.
know?
When we first did the designs, that was more than anything people commented on, that they did not want those taken out. So something to consider whenever we get around. I mean, luckily for those folks, it's been already several years and will be several years more before anything, before those were ever removed. So it just made me chuckle that that's considered a historic site in town that people want to preserve. So that's my only comment.
Yeah. Welcome to the party.
Thank you.
All right, I think that's it.
Do you have anything?
To adjourn.
Yep. Nothing additional. Just I hear all the comments on the arboretum, and I will. I've taken note. Although I am going to get a copy of the full motion you wrote out because that's a very long one. and I caught most of it. But also relaying the feelings, the perspectives, the concerns, the worries, and then I do plan on just asking more information about the it was budgeted for, and then pulled back, and I have to learn about that process too. So it'll be a good time for me to ask how that works and if there are any process changes that can be implemented, added when a project is this far along. So I've heard all of those. I'll be taking them back for the next meeting.
Good?
Cut it off.
Okay.
Cut myself off. Save it for another day.
Okay. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.